Welcome to this week's episode of On Record PR, where we talk about the strategies, insights, and latest news that are most important to law firm leaders. It is Monday, August 11th, and I am again joined by my amazing colleagues, Leslie Richards and Izzy Horan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
So, if you have listened to our last two episodes, this is the third episode in which we are wrapping up all of the incredible information that Leslie and Izzy learned at the 2025 DigiMarcom conference in Brooklyn. If you have not been listening, please check out the last two episodes where they covered how AI is reshaping digital marketing and law firm strategy, and how AI is changing search, specifically how law firms can stay visible in a zero-click world. And so today we are going to be covering AI agents. There has been a lot of conversation, probably the past year or so, around AI agents, but I'll be honest, there seems like a pretty broad spectrum of adaptability or application or even knowledge of
Mhm.
AI agents in the legal industry. So we've seen a few firms adopt AI agents in a couple of different ways and kind of announce that publicly. And then also, kind of the other side of the spectrum is there are professionals who really still don't understand what AI agents are, what their applications are. So I think our goal today is to kind of touch on that broad spectrum and really discuss what AI agents actually do, how they're different from the regular AI tools that we're now all familiar with, and some of us are, using as part of our day-to-day life, and maybe touch on how AI agents may be changing our workflow or the work that we're doing. So, Leslie and Izzy, I'll throw it over to you with a pretty broad question, but where do we want to start on the AI agent topic?
Yeah,
Sure.
I think we want to start with kind of distinguishing between a chat bot, like a chat GPT, and an AI agent. You want to
hmm
take that one?
Sure. Yeah. So basically, we're familiar with chatbots. It's where you enter a prompt and then it gives you an answer. AI agents are less of like a tool and more of, I guess the way that they were described to us at the conference was like a digital team member. And they run like automatically in the background. There's no prompting. It has a goal. So um, rather than asking it a question, it already has the goal in mind, and then it finds the solution without you really having to do anything. It also interacts with other AI agents and the web and other software. So it can perceive information, it can reason information, and it can make decisions and take action all at once without any real human interaction. And it also like learns. So if a lot of people will be using AI agents, a lot of companies will be using AI agents, they sort of are an extension of your brand identity and your brand voice. And they're really the way that they're talking about them at these conferences is as if they are colleagues. That's the way that they want you to think about them. Like AI agents have job descriptions and access to resources and like full capability to do things and complete tasks.
In fact, Dharmesh Shah from HubSpot has already set up a website, which is, as he refers to it, it's LinkedIn for AI agents,
Mhm.
where you can basically search AI agent resumes and functions.
Yes.
But to make it a little more concrete, I think from a marketing standpoint, and this could be an in-house department at a firm, this could be an agency like ours, but there's the potential, one of the things that was talked about, for a full creative campaign to get rolled out by an agent. So basically, we would give it the equivalent of a creative brief, and it would create the video. It would write the blog from that. It would generate social media. It would A/B test social media. It would test email headlines. It would put it all into a tool like a marketing automation platform, and basically the human role at that point is to check work at built-in checkpoints and to approve kind of final publication and rollout. So something that used to take a team of several people is now something that really just requires kind of creative direction and human oversight, but the tool, the AI agent, is able to do all the rest of it. And this happens because AI agents have integrations with other tools. So they're integrated with things like your LinkedIn page, or they're integrated with your CRM, they're integrated with your inbox, they're integrated, your Microsoft Office, they're integrated with lots of APIs, so they can move around in a digital environment without you having to essentially port data and information from one piece of your digital world to another. The AI agent is able to move around in there. So another example would be something like a billing workflow or a case intake. So pulling the information, creating kind of a profile of what that case is, entering billing information, identifying the practice group and attorneys in it that have the experience that matches that particular matter. There are ways that it essentially will accelerate administrative processes that we're used to doing by hand. So they're really going to accelerate the way that business runs. Yeah, and particularly, would you say that's accurate, Izzy? Is there anything you wanted to
Yeah,
add to that? Yeah,
yeah. I would say that that's going to be more specifically with the comment you said about it accelerating business. These are going to be automatic and immediate a lot of the times. There's not going to be waiting for prompts. They're going to be
right.
like tracking agents that are scouring the internet for things and then already drafting responses, and because of like something trending, and providing information to another agent that then does something else with that. And it
Yeah,
just, yeah.
yeah. I think the other place where you hear it talked about a lot is as sort of an administrative assistant. I mean, imagine an agent who could say, okay, you're traveling to this conference. I'm going to start scanning for the best flights.
But
I'm going to book a hotel room. I'm going to make sure that you have ground transportation from the airport to the hotel. I'm going to look for dinner reservations for you and a prospect or a colleague on this date at restaurants that have, a 4-star rating, whatever your criteria is. But that agent will go through all of those tasks and come to a final result for you to approve without you having to connect the dots for it on each of those different interfaces, and it'll be able to do all of that itself. So
yeah.
it's a lot to wrap your head around. I think that if we talk about legal specific tools, the one that seems to be out there and be getting the most press is Harvey AI. And this one is a legal specific tool that's been trained on legal databases. And Harvey AI is really about doing actual legal work, right? So drafting contracts, creating documents specific to a matter. They are looking at LexisNexis integration, and they are an enterprise level tool, right? So this is really a tool for firms that have that kind of budget and that kind of volume of work. It's really kind of best in class legal assistance for drafting and research. So that's one end of the spectrum, kind of the enterprise. And then we saw at the conference kind of more of I'm going to call it the Home Depot. It's kind of the do-it-yourself AI agent, which was a tool called Smith OS, and that's Smith spelled with a Y. And this is a tool that allows people who are not programmers to build AI agents with a drag and drop tool. So it's not specific to a particular industry, it's industry agnostic. It has what's called APIs, or connection points, with lots of other pieces of software. So broader. So where Harvey AI, the APIs are really going to be focused on databases that are specific to the legal industry, something like Smith OS. Their connections are to all kinds of tools all over the digital landscape. I don't know, Izzy, I found that session really interesting. I didn't feel like I could leave it and build my own agent. I don't know if you did.
I tried. I did try.
And
It went slowly for me,
uh-huh.
and unsuccessfully. But
Yeah.
I would be willing to try again with
Yeah.
maybe some dedicated hours. I think it would take to get the hang of it. As someone
Yeah.
who, is not a
Programmer.
computer programmer, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of times professionals will hear that these tools are coming down the pike and that some organizations or firms are already implementing them in a meaningful way. And Leslie, you gave some examples that may make individuals listening to this podcast think, wow, that's what I do as my role, or that's what my legal administrator does. And then we go down the path of, oh my gosh, is this replacing someone? So, could you both just talk a minute about how professionals can start to prepare for these AI agents that maybe fast forward several years will be part of our day-to-day work, but how they can start to safeguard their roles and the value that they bring to their firms and to their positions as these tools become more sophisticated and start to handle work that humans are handling.
Yeah, I think there's going to be like certainly restructuring once these agents are introduced. But I think it's going to be from people that are doing it to more directors. Like there's still going to be a need for people that are overseeing these processes, and the people that learn how to are the ones that are going to retain these jobs. I also think that there's going to be an opportunity for creative roles that we don't really know the extent of at this point. But I feel less. I think it's like a sort of scary prospect that like all these entry level jobs are going to be, you know, AI agents. But I do think there's going to be like a niche for human creativity and direction, and there still needs to be goals that are set. And it gives people more time to do these things as well.
That's
So
where my mind went, is that thinking about how, for example, the legal admins are staffed right now, their work could shift more to, um, you know, not the administrative tasks around travel and
hmm
hotels. Like, if that's going to become automated, perhaps they can be doing more legal support for more
hmm
attorneys, right? So that
right,
would open up their opportunities to support more attorneys than they
right.
currently do in their roles.
And client relationships as well. Like that is there's
That's
gonna be more time for
Yeah,
those things as
that's
well.
what I was going to go. I mean, in my mind, there is no question that there's going to be disruption,
Hmm.
hmm
and people are going to. Where the need for a human workforce will be impacted by this for sure. But I think the things that aren't replaceable are relationships, right? So building those and understanding those. And then I also think people who know how to manage these tools, build them with a tool like Smith OS,
hmm
or what I'm sure there's going to be lots of tools that are similar on the market. People who understand how to build and manage these tools are going to have a lot more job security than people who kind of take the ostrich approach and
Hmm.
pretend that they're not
Yeah.
there, because they're gonna come. And we've seen how quickly Gen AI chatbots went from being kind of dismissed and, oh, it's not accurate enough, and it's not this, it's not that, and look at where ChatGPT is now, just 3 years later, and how integrated it is into day-to-day life, the kinds of things that it can execute on. These are going to move quickly as well. So I think understanding them and understanding how to manage them, and then also I think understanding the things that chatbots can't, or the agents, or agentic AI as it's called, cannot do, which is build relationships, build trust, learn about the needs of clients and team members. I think those are the kinds of things, those human interactions are going to be the thing it can't do. And that's where people who can foster those and understand how to knit teams together and build those relationships will have an advantage.
Well, thank you both for joining us today. I know this is a topic that is going to continue to disrupt the work that we are all doing.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is maybe have us come back together in a couple of months because things change that quickly, right? It'll be a big difference, and talk about even more applications that we're seeing in the legal industry and maybe in the broader market. I want to thank our listeners for joining us today. If you found these episodes helpful, please subscribe to the show, share it with colleagues and friends, leave a review on iTunes. All of those things help us get the insights that matter most to you out into the podcast universe. We always welcome your feedback and topic ideas at podcast@onrecordpr.com. And Leslie and Izzy, thank you so much for joining us for 3 episodes in a row. This information is invaluable and it allows our clients and our community to move forward in their roles with confidence and some clarity around what's changing so quickly. It also allows us to be in a great position to support our clients and community on things that are impacting us every day. So thank you so much for taking the time, and hopefully we'll see you again on the show soon. And to our listeners, we'll see you again next week.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us, Jennifer. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Furia Rubel Communications, a public relations and marketing agency serving law firms and businesses worldwide. With an expert team positioned throughout the U.S. and supported by an international faculty, Furia Rubel enhances our clients' brands through integrated communications by providing expert guidance in crisis management and high-profile litigation, protecting brand and reputation, and supporting internal marketing teams. To learn more, visit furiarubel.com. On Record PR is produced by Jennifer Simpson Carr and Matt Henderson, with support from the team at Furia Rubel Communications. This episode is edited by Isabelle Horan and Christian Yamula. Visit www.onrecordpr.com for resources and more information.